From Television City in Hollywood, Chrysler Corporation, maker of these 5 great cars. Plymouth, Dodge, DeSoto, Chrysler, and the exclusive Imperial, the 5 great cars of the forward look. Chrysler Corporation presents Climax. Tonight starring Louis Heyward, Peter Lorre, Ann Harding. And now your host for Chrysler Corporation, Bill Lundigan.
Good evening. You know, our story tonight is from the pen of one of the great storytellers of all times. A man who seemed to know that he was predestined to live a tragic life, and he did. In many of his works, Oscar Wilde seemed always to ask, do you believe in fate? Do you believe that there's a pattern in your life, a pattern that maps your future and all your travels that lie ahead? Well, maybe you do, and maybe you don't. That's up to you. But this is the premise of our story tonight, from the pen of Oscar Wilde, as adapted by John Newbill, A Promise to Murder, now on Climax.
Yes, the fates, they weave the strands of our lives. And here's the pattern of that great design, a simple copy, so to speak, here in the palms of our hands. It is as if nature said, pitying us in our loneliness, don't be afraid. You're not alone. You're not lost. Right here, etched in your hands, is a map of the travels that lie ahead.
Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Townsend.
Hello, Charles.
Permit me to offer my congratulations, sir.
Thank you, Charles. Oh, Mrs. Weatherby has a little parcel she wants me to pick up.
Oh, yes, sir, I have it ready.
Thanks.
Randy, how nice to see you.
Mr. Saunders, how are you, sir?
My heartiest congratulations, Randy. She's a wonderful girl, Marcia. Getting herself a wonderful husband, too, if you ask me.
Thanks very much. Am I interrupting something?
Bertha has found the most remarkable man, a Mr. Vorhees.
Another of our proteges, huh?
But this one really is remarkable. Come along, see for yourself.
Sure.
And written in your hands, Mrs. Weatherby, is not only the future in this life, but your future in the eternal life. And there your dear husband is waiting for you. And an eternity of happiness waits with him.
Oh, when? When will that be?
When? Your lifeline here, as I told you before, it's a long one. Long as this world reckons time. So it'll be a while, but what are a few years more of separation compared to an eternity of happiness together?
He told us the day Bertha's Gerald passed on. Right to the day, Randy.
Surely you don't believe in this sort of fraud. Hello, Aunt Bertha. Congratulations, Randolph.
Congratulations. Oh, Randolph, I am so glad that you could come. And how is your darling Marcia?
She is fine. I'm meeting her shortly for cocktails. The Pryors are joining us. I thought I'd give her your little gift. Charles is fetching it.
It's my mother's old shawl, the lace one. It will go so beautifully with her lovely blonde hair.
Yeah, you're sweet, darling.
Now, come, dear, I want you to meet Mr. Vorhees. Mr. Vorhees, this is my dear nephew, Randolph. Randolph Townsend.
It's an honor to meet you, Mr. Townsend.
How do you do?
Mr. Vorhees is the most extraordinary man.
You have the gift of seeing into the future, Mr. Voorhees?
No, I merely read what's written in your hands.
Oh, well, may I try?
This is not for a skeptic, Mr. Voorhees.
Oh, you mustn't pay any attention to him, Mr. Voorhees. Randy is a lawyer, so he's quite devoid of imagination. But do please try his hand.
Yes, Mr. Voorhees, please try, huh?
Do, please, Mr. Voorhees.
All right. Would you be seated, please?
Thank you.
Just trouble. There will be trouble with a young lady.
Oh, not with Marcia.
A dark-haired lady with dark hair will come between you and your marriage.
Tired of blondes so soon, Randy?
Well, go ahead, Mr. Vorhees.
Precious link of your past will be shattered. You shall suffer considerable loss of money and a great loss of love.
Oh, there's that dark-haired lady again.
And then
What is it, Mr. Vorhees?
Your gift failing you, Mr. Vorhees?
no.
Oh, please don't be upset, Mr. Vorhees. Randolph, I'd like to speak with you.
Sure. Goodbye, Mr. Vorhees.
Now, what is the meaning of this behavior, Randy?
Further. I wish when you pick us up protégés to sponsor, you'd be a little more careful. This man's obviously a fraud.
I don't see how you can speak like that of Mr. Vorhees. He's told us all the most astonishing things.
I know. Uncle Gerald waiting for you in heaven. My coat, please, John.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever given him any money?
Well, I offered him his fee, of course.
I thought so. How much?
Well, it doesn't matter. He wouldn't take it.
Oh, thanks, Charles. Thank you.
And Mrs. Weatherby's gift, sir.
Oh, yes. Marcia will love it, Aunt Bertha. It's very sweet of you. You know, you're awfully kind-hearted. Don't let other people take advantage of it, huh?
Oh, dear Mr. Voorhees, I'm so sorry. I don't know what came over him. He's never really rude.
I don't think he was rude. I think he was only afraid.
Afraid, Mr. Voorhees?
Yes, afraid of believing, but, you see, destiny is, it's like death, whether we believe in it or not. It does not matter. It just happens.
But really, the most amusing part of the whole thing was when he came to the fifth prophecy. His eyes popped out, his mouth fell open. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. Really quite a performance.
What was the fifth prophecy?
Oh, does it matter? Oh, Arthur, why don't we take these out on the terrace? Marcia will be here soon.
Of course.
Yes, Arthur. It's lovely and warm today. May I help?
Sure. Would you mind taking out the hors d'oeuvres?
Love to.
Good.
Oh, don't they look delicious? Randy, it's all very well you're teasing your Aunt Bertha's latest find, but, well, you can't just put that sort of thing down as nonsense.
Georgina, bring the tray, dear.
Coming, Arthur.
Georgina, don't tell me you think there's any truth to it.
If there isn't, then why do so many people believe in it?
Superstition.
Now, that's where you're wrong. It isn't superstition.
Oh? You're quite sure you want to go through with your marriage, Randy. Be forewarned.
Don't be rude, Arthur. What I mean, Randy, is, well, these people predict the future for you, don't they?
Yeah?
Well, then, if it doesn't come true, you don't believe in it.
That's right.
Then it stands to reason that a lot of their predictions do come true because so many people believe in them. So? Oh, is that the shawl for Mrs. Weatherby?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Marcia will look lovely in it with her blonde hair.
There she is now. Marcia, Doc.
What's the matter?
A dark-haired lady will come between you and your marriage.
What is it?
Oh, it's nothing, really. Come and have your cocktail. It's waiting for you. I like you as a brunette.
I always wanted it done. Fall in love with a blonde, marry a brunette. That way you won't grow tired of me.
You never said anything about dyeing your hair.
No, it was a sudden whim. Just this afternoon, I was wandering along, passing the time. Suddenly, I found myself in front of a beauty shop. I thought, well, why not? Do it now.
What time was this?
Oh, as a matter of fact, it was exactly 3. I remember because they just happened to have a cancellation at that time. What?
Oh, it's nothing. Just I'm not used to it yet. It's really very nice. Oh, Aunt Bertha sent you a little gift. An old lace shawl.
Oh. Oh, she's sweet.
Yes.
And so are you. Hello, Walter.
Marcia, what have you done to your hair?
I changed. I can't.
I say, I wouldn't tell Mrs. Weatherby about this little coincidence if I were you. She'd never get rid of that Vorhees.
Of course not. I've forgotten all about Vorhees. Come on.
I like it.
Here it is, Mr. Vorhees.
Oh, look.
This was Randy's room when he was a little boy.
Look. Oh. Oh. What a happy childhood he must have had.
My husband, God rest him, and I tried to make it so. After what happened to his parents. He was my sister Angela's boy, you know. Poor Angela. She and her darling Tony. They had left their baby, little Randy, with us while they were vacationing in the Alps. They were both so very fond of winter sports. Then it must have been about 10 nights after they left. I awoke in the most desperate state of anxiety. I can't explain the feeling. An insistent sense of loss. The very next morning, the telegram came about the ski train accident. After that, Randy became my baby. You know, sometimes I think it is a shame that they have to grow up.
I don't believe we really grow up. I mean, yes, our bodies grow up, but inside we remain the same. You know something? I don't think I've ever been in a playroom before. No, not except in dreams. And I never had any toys. Oh, I was promised, yes, always. Next week, next month, but never happened. No, it was always magic promise, but just promised.
Let me show you some of the other things. My husband gave him this little puppet theater on his 2nd birthday.
Oh, look.
Always such fun on those long rainy afternoons, you know. And, this, of course, is the prize of them all.
Oh, look at that beautiful cannon.
Well, I think we must have defeated Napoleon 1,000 times on this table.
Oh, this is
It's
beautiful.
really very powerful. You know what that little monkey used to do? He would stuff little pebbles in there for bullets, and the things hurt frightfully.
Imagine they would.
Oh, and those little ships. They actually belonged to my husband when he was a little boy.
Oh, look.
It is such a pleasure to find someone else who enjoys these things as I do.
It's more than enjoying. It's much more. It's almost as if life begins anew. Only now all the promises are fulfilled, and all of a sudden there's magic in this world, and for a brief moment the loneliness, all the loneliness is gone.
And it need never return.
I'll tell Mrs. Weatherby you're here. She and Mr. Vorhees are at breakfast.
Charles.
Yes, sir.
When did he move in, Mr. Vorhees?
The day before yesterday, sir.
Thank you, Charles.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I can't understand why it should upset you so, Randy. She sponsored people before.
The extent of having them move in as if they were part of the family?
Well, she has no family now and she's lonely. Well, what harm is her in her having a companion?
Even if that companion is such a charlatan?
Assuming that he is.
Assuming? Don't tell me you believe this nonsense now, just because by coincidence you dye your hair black.
Very well. You've been upset all morning, and now you're upsetting me, too.
Good morning, Randy, Marcia, dear.
Good morning, Aunt Bertha. Oh, I can't thank you enough for that lovely shawl.
Oh, I'm so glad you like it. Come sit by me, dear.
Ah.
Well, to what do I owe the pleasure of this early morning call?
Aunt Bertha, I simply won't let you do it.
Do what, dear?
Let yourself be victimized by this Vorhees.
Oh, but I told you, Randy, he hasn't asked me for money, not ever. And it wasn't his suggestion that he come here to stay with me. It was mine.
He's more subtle than you realize.
Oh, you're really being insufferable about this, Randy. It's not like you. And yet he did say that you would act like this out of fear.
Fear?
And you know, it's true. As a little boy, because of my dream about your parents' accident, you always did believe in prophecies and portents. The fear of them used to keep you awake.
Nonsense. What have I to fear from him? It's you I'm worried about. I won't let him do it.
Well, after all, Randy, it is my house. And I'm very happy to have the playroom occupied again.
You mean you've given him my room?
Well, you've moved out of this house. Whatever it might have meant to you in the past, it's become now merely a room for my friend, Mr. Vorhees.
In just a moment, we'll return to the second act of A Promise to Murder. And now your host, Bill Lundigan.
I'd like to give you some straight talk about a very important decision you may be faced with. Let me start by saying that the biggest investment you're likely to make in your whole life is your house. But you may not have considered that the second biggest investment you're likely to make is your new car. Now, when a family sets out to buy a house, they spend weeks, maybe months, looking around, visiting model homes, comparing the differences. But strangely enough, research indicates that 58% of the people buy the same make car they bought the last time without even comparing it with any other make. Compare all for style. Look at the brilliant flight sweep styling seen in the cars of the Forward Look 56. Lines that move cleanly and boldly from the sharply upswept tail fins to the forward thrusting headlights. Compare this years ahead styling with the styling of other cars, and you'll know the flight sweep is for you. See if you, too, don't find that the greatest new feature in years is push-button power flight. A fingertip touch sets you in motion smoothly, effortlessly. You can't get it in any car but a Chrysler Corporation car, so compare, and you'll find all other methods of drive selection already out of date. Here's another important comparison. Power steering. Only on Chrysler Corporation cars can you have the tremendous advantage of full-time, safety-touch power steering. Power steering that works for you all the time instead of cutting in and out. Even if you now drive with a part-time system, you can discover there's a better way by comparing. So if you're planning, thinking, or only just dreaming of a new 1956 car, compare them all feature by feature, and I'll bet you'll choose one of the cars of the Forward Look 56. Plymouth, Dodge, DeSoto, Chrysler, or the exclusive Imperial. And now we return to Climax, tonight starring Louis Heyward, Peter Lorre, and Ann Harding.
Come in.
Randy? If you're through drafting the Johnson will, Miss Williams is ready to type it. I believe Johnson wants to go over it with us at 5.
No, I'm not through with it yet. Tell him to come in a few days.
Randy, we put him off twice. He won't like a third postponement.
I'm not ready to see him. Thank you, Arthur.
Oh, Georgina wanted me to remind you. Our theater date tonight?
Oh, yes. Why don't you, Georgina, or Marcia go? I don't feel very well.
Randy, have you and Marcia had a quarrel? Georgina thinks so.
No. What gave her that idea?
Well, you've canceled so many dates. Yes? Yes, Miss Williams. Oh. Yes, I see. No. There's little we can do about it now, I suppose. That was about the McDowell account.
Oh.
They're canceling.
What?
They, didn't like the way we drew up their first papers.
You mean the way I drew them up?
Randy, it'll mean a considerable loss to us.
How much?
20,000.
I'm sorry, Arthur. I guess my mind just hasn't been on my work.
You will suffer a considerable loss of money.
Well, one thing about bad news, it's always a wonderful excuse for a party. Change your mind and come along tonight.
All right, Arthur. Marcia and I will meet you at the theater.
Good. And Randy, if it's your Aunt Bertha worrying you, I'm sure a little talk can clear up whatever troubles you may have had the past week.
It'll take more than a little talk to get rid of Vorhees.
Oh, hang Vorhees. Forget him.
Understand it, Randy. 1 minute you're taking me to the theater, and the next minute you're not. Simply because you're bound and determined to pursue this nonsense about Vorhees.
Marcia, all I'm asking you to do is to go to the theater with the Pryors. I want to see Aunt Bertha, and after that, Mr. Voorhees, that's all.
Randy, please don't drink anymore.
That's all right.
Please. What possible good can seeing Vorhees do?
I'll get rid of her.
But how?
Money. That's obviously what he's after. I'll make it worth his while to go away.
Isn't that rather extreme?
It's the only way.
I'm beginning to believe Aunt Bertha was right. You do believe. Half believe anyway. When you don't want to admit it, not even to yourself.
That's like believing in witchcraft. Why should I believe in him?
I don't know. Unless perhaps it has something to do with what Aunt Bertha said about your parents.
What about them?
She dreamt that they would die. And it happened. You knew that as a little boy.
Marcia, this is becoming perfectly ridiculous. I just think that Aunt Bertha's been the victim of a cheap little charlatan. I want to get rid of him before he hurts her, that's all. That's all, Marcia.
All right, then. I'll try to explain to us and Georgina.
I'll go down with you.
Don't bother.
Come in.
Hello, Mr. Vorhees.
Mr. Townsend.
You seem to like this room.
Oh, I like it very much, and your Aunt Bertha told me that it used to be yours.
Oh, it's Aunt Bertha now, huh?
Oh, I wouldn't have dared to be so forward, except she allowed me the honor.
Things are going rather well then, aren't they?
Huh?
Tell me, how do you and Mrs. Weatherby pass the time of day?
How? Well, in the mornings we take a walk in the garden, and sometimes after lunch I play the piano or I read to her. She's very lonely, I think.
When do the seances begin?
Seances?
You know what I mean. Contacting the dead, a husband waiting for in a heaven of eternal happiness and all.
I told you I don't contact the dead.
It amounts to the same thing.
No, I merely read what's written in their hands. You see, on certain evenings they gather in a salon. Well, they're all very, very nice people.
I'm glad you feel that way about them. Too nice for me or anyone else to stand by and see their kindness get them into trouble.
No one wants to get them into trouble.
And why don't you get out of here and leave them alone?
Why? Because Aunt Bertha asked me to stay. As a guest and as her companion. Besides, I couldn't very well leave her alone, and I couldn't really go without thanking her for her kindness, and I don't think she would let me go.
If you're not out of here by tomorrow morning, I'm sending for the police. They'll get you out.
Why?
There are laws against extorting money.
I've never taken money from them. Money means nothing to me.
Doesn't it?
No.
There are $5,000 there, Mr. Vorhees.
For what?
I don't pretend you don't understand. It's what you came for, isn't it? Well, take it and get out.
Please take it back, Mr. Townsend.
Go on, take it. It's yours, and leave my aunt and her friends alone.
Why can't you believe me?
Because you're a fraud, that's why.
A fraud?
Yes.
Look, Mr. Townsend, when I read your hands, I predicted certain things, and they came true.
How do you know they came true?
Because they always do.
Coincidences, that's all.
Coincidence,
Yes.
huh? Aunt Bertha told me about your fiancé's hair. That came true. And this room, this was your link with your past, huh? When Aunt Bertha moved me, and here my second prediction came true. Now, this is a considerable amount of money, isn't it? If I were to take it, my third prediction would come true.
Yes, but you say you aren't going to take it, so it won't come true.
So, all right, so it happened some other way. Come on, be fair. You lost some money. Considerable money this week, huh?
A lawyer often loses clients and money, naturally.
Ah, you see? And your relations with Aunt Bertha. Remember my fourth prediction? You remember I told you would suffer heartbreak and loss of love? That has happened.
If you're not out of here by tomorrow morning, I'm sending for the police. Good night.
And the fifth prediction.
What was it?
Perhaps if you leave town, it might not happen, and you could avoid a tragedy.
What was it?
That you would kill someone.
Well, I, for one, Randy, am very glad he told you that. Fantastic as it is. It's very obvious what the man is trying to do. He's trying to get you out of town for a while, trying to scare you away. With you out of town, Mrs. Weatherby is his for whatever game he's playing.
But I offered him money, a lot of money. He wouldn't take it.
Well, then what is it that he wants?
I don't know.
Of course, it's only a guess. But he may have all that he wants already. He's got Aunt Bertha's affection, her home, her friends. What does he need money for? Oh, I know how you feel, Randy, but... Well, if it's what Aunt Bertha wants, then why not? Well, she's happy and she can afford it.
Excuse me, Mrs. Weatherby is here to see Mr. Townsend.
Sure.
What do you suppose she wants?
I don't know.
Perhaps she just wants to make up your differences. Now, please, please, Randy, be civil to her when she comes in.
All right. Well, hello, Aunt Bertha.
Marcia?
How are you, Mrs. Weatherby?
Arthur?
Good morning, Aunt Bertha. How are you?
Aunt Bertha, won't you sit down?
Thank you. I'd like to come straight to the point, Randy. Mr. Vorhees told me of your surprise visit to him last night.
I only do what anyone with any decency would have done.
Blackmailing my friends and intimidating them into leaving me behind my back hardly comes under the heading of decency, Randy. However, I didn't come up here to talk about that.
Aunt Bertha, I'm sure that if you and Randy had a little talk
said,
just...
Martha, that I am not here to discuss Randy's disgraceful behavior of last night. Arthur, you and Randy have been handling my legal affairs for some time now, and that is why I am here. Do you wish to continue in that capacity?
Why, of course, Mrs. Weatherby.
Good. Then I must ask you both to comply with my wishes without argument and without interruption. I really think I'm past the age of having to justify my wishes to anyone.
And what is it you wish?
I want my will altered.
Altered?
Mr. Vorhees is to be included amongst my beneficiaries.
That's just what he's been after.
It is my money, Randy.
You've let him wheedle anything he wants out of you.
This is my idea, not his, and I will thank you to stop interfering in my affairs. Of course, my old friend Mr. Croydon will be very glad to draw up a new will for me if you prefer that I go elsewhere.
Well, we have no other choice, of course, but to comply with your wishes.
Arthur may have no choice, but I have. I won't be a party to it.
Please forgive him, Aunt Bertha, but he's terribly upset.
Now, Arthur, I want to leave to Mr. Vorhees, Maximilian Vorhees, the sum of $50,000.
50,000?
I am leaving money to charities that don't interest me one bit. This does. I want to make very sure that Mr. Vorhees will be free to go on with his work.
Very well. I'll have Miss Williams bring in the necessary papers.
You lied to her. You made her change her will. You're nothing but a dirty crook, and when I'm through with you, you'll be sorry you ever set foot in this house.
Never asked Bertha for money, never once.
Stop calling her Bertha. You made her change her will somehow.
I did not. She believes in my work and she wants it to go on.
Your work's a fake.
A fake, huh? After all that has happened to you, you call it a fake. And tell me something. Have you given her as much happiness, have you?
Get out of here.
You are the one that doesn't want it.
I said get out of here. Once for all, you leave her alone, you understand? Once and for all.
Run! Don't do it! Down!
You're going to kill someone.
In just a moment, we'll return to the third act of A Promise to Murder. And now, once again, your host, Bill Lundigan.
The Flight Sweep, Chrysler Corporation's aerodynamic style concept. New, fresh, imaginative. Tonight, Mary Costa will show you how the Flight Sweep makes these cars stand out from any others on the road.
from high upswept tail fins surging forward to the front, you get a feeling of power, of motion, even when standing still. For Chrysler Corporation has broken the style barrier with the Flight Sweep. Inspired by the jet plane that sweeps the skies, this is the look of motion and of perfectly controlled power. This is the styling that talks the language of today, and I know it's a language you will understand. These cars have a young look, an eager look, the look of go. The Flight Sweep, unmistakable when you drive the cars that have it. New this year, with the style of tomorrow, to lead the way for others. Just look at those sweeping lines, and then ask yourself why you should buy last year's styling when Chrysler Corporation can put you so far ahead. Yes, inspired by the very latest swept-wing jet planes, these are the cars that have broken the style barrier. The newest, finest cars on the road. Plymouth, Dodge, DeSoto, Chrysler, and the exclusive Imperial.
Thank you, Mary. And now we return to A Promise to Murder from a story by Oscar Wilde, adapted for Climax by John Newcomb.
Randy, let me in. It's Marcia, Randy. Do please let me in. Oh, please, I know you're in there. Open the door.
Go away. I don't want to see her.
But I've got to see you. I've got to talk to you.
I said go away. I don't want to see anyone.
Only let me talk to you.
What is it?
I wanted to tell you I love you. I love you.
Marcia!
Oh, Randy.
You shouldn't have come here. I mustn't see anyone.
Why? Please tell me what it is.
I can't. I can't tell anyone.
Is it anything I've done?
No, it's something I might do. I don't want to hurt you.
And do you love me?
You know I do.
That's all I wanted to know. Oh, Randy, you need someone to look after you. After the wedding, we'll go away. But please, please, you must go and see Aunt Bertha. It isn't much fun, you know, for all of us going to do marriage with Aunt Bertha left out. It'd be almost as if you excluded your own mother. Oh, and she's suffering, too, and she's very lonely. I'm sure if you could see, you'd find that she's just as anxious to make up as you are. Randy, I think we'd make her terribly happy if we'd go and stay with her for a little while after the wedding. Just a little while. Just until we can find a place of our own.
Marcia, if ever I do anything to hurt you,
You can't hurt me if you love me.
I do. I do.
Mrs. Webb get home?
I'm sorry, sir. She's at her tools.
Mr. Vorhees?
Oh, yes, sir.
I'd like to see him for a few moments.
Yes, sir. And if you will pardon the liberty, sir, it's good to see you calling here again.
Thank you, Joe.
Yes, sir.
That's very beautiful, Mr. Vorhees.
Randy, that's very, very nice of you. Oh, but Randy, why didn't you call? I'm sure Aunt Bertha would have liked to stay. Oh, pardon me, won't you sit down? You look very tired. How about a little sherry, huh?
No, thank you.
Well, I'm sure Aunt Bertha will be very cross when she finds she missed you. Cigarette?
No. There's something I want to say to you, Mr. Vorhees.
Yes?
Well,
Randy, not everything has to be said between friends. Oh, I know Aunt Bertha will be so relieved.
I hope so. I want to make up with her. In fact, we have a little surprise for her. After the wedding, we're going to move in here with her.
You are? Well, I'm sure that'll make Aunt Bertha very, very happy.
It was Marcia's idea. We thought it might make her a little less lonely.
I have an idea. Why don't you and Marcia come tomorrow night for dinner, huh? I'll have Charles set it up in the playroom. All right?
Oh, you sure Aunt Bertha won't mind?
Oh, I'm sure. Just leave it up to me. Just leave it up to me.
kiss?
I don't want it.
I'll go here. Just one little kiss.
One, two, I don't want it.
I'll go here.
Hey, you let go of my stuff. What's the matter? Where's the baby?
Oh, the baby? The baby took a walk.
Baby take a walk?
Yeah, baby ran away, took a walk.
Get the baby.
I don't want to get the baby.
Get the baby.
You get the baby.
You get the baby.
I won't do it.
You will.
I won't.
Thank you. And thank you, Judy. And thank you, Punch.
Oh, isn't he funny, Randy? And so clever. Oh, well, now we must have some wine.
Yes, let's have some more wine.
No, Aunt Bertha, please. Please don't move. Don't you move. I'll get it for you. We must have some music.
Yes.
Randy, how about some music? All right?
I've played for a long time. You know you asked for it.
I'll get the wine. You play the music.
do my best,
huh?
yes.
All right, that's it. Now, music, huh?
Thank you, my lord. Oh, Martha, do you remember when you were all children? The little entertainments that you used to put on up here when you'd come to play with friends. Remember the time that you did the play scene from Midsummer Night's Dream?
Oh,
Randy
no.
was busy. And he made his golden dresses out of corn tassels. And then when Phoebe Banks told you what a lovely girl you made, you hauled off and punched her in the eye.
And Mrs. Banks made such a fuss that Aunt Bertha threatened to punch her in the eye, you remember?
Oh, Aunt Bertha? Oh, I wouldn't think that of you.
Well, I was stronger and
She was stronger. Well, some wine.
Oh,
For
that's
everybody,
right.
huh?
Wine.
Not only for Aunt Bertha, but for everybody. You have it.
Good news.
And, oh, no, the lady first, please. The lady
Sorry,
first.
Thank you, sir.
Here, Marcia. And for you, Randy.
Thank you.
And for me, too, huh?
Uh-huh.
I need some wine, and... Oh, yes, and now... A toast.
Here, a toast. Give a toast.
A toast to a happy party. And a toast to a happy couple. And a toast to happy me. And a toast to my precious lady. Oh, yes, and a toast to Mr. Morgan.
Mr. Morgan.
Yes, and to Miss Choo-Chin Chow.
Choo-Chin Chow.
And to Sir Egbert.
To Sir Egbert.
No, to Aunt Bertha. All right, I want music, I want fanfare, and, oh, yes, I want a salvo. I want a salvo, a 21-gun salute to my precious lady. All right, Marcia, you make the music,
Yes,
and
yes,
you'll fire the salvo. But just a moment. Wait. I have something to do. Now, I'll do the commanding.
no.
I am the general. No, I am the general here. Come on, Randy, come on. Come on. All right, everything ready?
Yep.
A fanfare, Marcia, please. Oh, that's lovely.
Now, you ready?
No, not yet. No, the salvo comes after the toast, huh? While our precious lady is basking in the radiance of our love.
Radiance of our love. Oh, my, that's very pretty. Very.
All right. Now, another fanfare, please. Good. And now a toast. To Our Lady Precious.
To Our Lady Precious.
I'm afraid I'm going to cry a little.
All right. And now the salvo.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes. What is it?
Dinner is served, Mrs. Weatherby.
Oh, thank you, Charles. We'll be down very shortly.
Well, anyway. And now, the salvo.
No, not yet.
Oh, let's have another salvo.
I'll play another salute.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
I'll reset it. What is Mr. Vorhees? What's the matter?
What's wrong? What's happened? Oh!
Marshal, tell Charles to get a doctor quickly.
What happened,
How
Randy?
could have? He said I'd kill.
Oh, no, dear. No, you didn't. It was entirely an accident. We all saw it.
Charles is calling Dr. Phoebe.
Won't do any good now.
But how did it happen?
I don't know. I don't.
What is it, Randy? What are you doing?
And if it had worked the way he planned it, he could have blamed me.
Blamed you for what?
Nothing, Marcia, nothing. Now, Bertha, come away from here. Come on.
Years ago, this early Chrysler-built car pioneered four-wheel hydraulic brakes in American production motor cars.
And today, as down through the years, Chrysler Corporation brings you more advanced braking features, more important differences than you'll find in the brakes of any other cars. Now, here's one important difference. These two cylinders in every front-wheel brake, one for each shoe. This means smoother, safer, straight-line stops every time. And yet, if you drive any other car than a Chrysler Corporation car, no matter what you pay, you get only one brake cylinder. Now, here's another important difference. The brake lining. You'll find most cars still use rivets to fasten brake linings to brake shoes. But Chrysler Corporation developed an exclusive process called cycle bond that welds the lining to the shoe, eliminating the old-fashioned rivets. It means you get 50% more brake lining life and more braking surface. Now, let me show you Chrysler Corporation's newest advance. In other brakes, the shoes are pressed against the brake drum in this way, causing hot spots and uneven wear. Only on our new floating shoe center plane brakes is the pressure applied evenly on all braking surfaces. You see the difference on the new DeSoto, Chrysler, and Imperial? This reduces pedal pressure by 25%, and your linings will give you up to 20,000 miles more of surface. Yes, these are some of the important differences of typical in the engineering advantages of the Forward Look 56 from Chrysler Corporation. You know, ladies and gentlemen, next week on Climax, we're pleased to announce Portrait in Celluloid, written especially for Climax by Rod Serling, the author of Patterns and many other unique and exciting original stories. And right now, I'd like to have you meet our cast. Here's an old golfing buddy of mine, Jack Carson, who's going to play the part of Art Shattuck. Will you tell the audience a little bit about the role, Jack?
Certainly, Bill. Art Shattuck is a product of the only city of its kind in the world, Hollywood, California. He's a literary agent, unfortunately unsuccessful. However, he did manage to win an award some years ago for writing a screenplay.
Well, it sounds like an interesting role.
Oh, it is, Bill. I'm looking forward to playing it.
Be seeing you next week. Fine, Jack. And now playing the part of Barbara Williams is lovely Kim Hunter. Hi, Kim.
Hello,
nice to be with
Bill.
us.
I play Art Shattuck's secretary. I've been with him 5 years, and in that length of time, you get to know a person pretty well.
Thank you, Kim. And I have a couple of more folks that I want to introduce.
Thank you.
Here is another old friend, Don Taylor, who plays the role of John Appleby.
Hello, Bill.
Don?
John Appleby is a young screenwriter whose career starts the way Art Shattuck's ended 20 years ago.
And, as you well know, Don, here is Audrey Totter, who is making her live television debut on Climax. And we're delighted to have you with us, Audrey.
Thank you, Bill. I'm very happy that my debut will be on Climax.
You know, we are, too.
Thank you.
See you all of you, next week. Well, there's our cast for next week's story, Behind the Scenes in Hollywood, Portrait in Celluloid, written especially by Rod Serling on Climax. This is Bill Lundigan saying thank you, and don't miss it.
Be sure to visit your Dodge dealer and enter the big Dodge contest. You may win a brand new Dodge every year for life. And don't miss the Thanksgiving Parade telecast next Thursday morning from Detroit on another network. See your newspaper for time and station. Climax has been presented by Chrysler Corporation. The Forward Look. Tens of thousands of children between the ages of 3 and 13 are victims of muscular dystrophy. You can help support the research that is bringing new hope to these youngsters. Send your contribution to MDAA, care of your local postmaster. Art Gilmore speaking. Portions of this program were pre-recorded. Climax is a CBS television network production.